It's officially been a week since the beginning of 2024, and during this time, I've been thinking about the crazy amount of groundbreaking moments that this year will bring us. With several international tournaments across the entire year, 2024 would already be prone to have some spectacular things happening, but as you'll soon realize in this video, there's much more on the cards that will change football forever. In this video, I'll showcase to you my predictions for the year 2024, including several underdog victories, shocking transfers, and much more. But as a warning, I wouldn't recommend you staying until the end if you don't want to leave this video with a couple of tears in your eyes. Now before we start, if this isn't the first time watching Hirona FC, please consider subscribing. With your help, we've already achieved 2,000 subscribers and now it's time to aim at 10,000. Now without further ado, let's get right to it. Number 10. Hirona will play Champions League football. Unless a massive meltdown happens, there's no way Hirona bottles a top 4 finish. They have played consistently well against the best teams in Spain, proving to everyone that their recent success is no fluke. Hirona finished 2023 with 3 wins across their matches with Real and Barca, and given their 10-point lead to 5th place Athletic Bilbao, I just don't see them missing out on an iconic Champions League debut. However, from September to December, I'd be surprised if they were able to keep performing at this level with so many more matches. Number 9. Man City will win the Champions League again. At this point, I think most people still believe Man City will battle a back-to-back Champions League win. Although they won the competition last year, the citizens failed to confirm their superiority many times in the past, so the most skeptical football fans will logically think last year was nothing more than an exception to the rule. Well, I disagree. Getting a lucky draw plays a huge role on who wins the competition, but I believe that no matter who the citizens face, they will come out on top and win the whole thing in the end. If you don't believe me, let's look at the not so distant past. Real, during their three-peat, was very similar to current-day Man City. They used to struggle in the beginning of the season, but after January, everyone was on their best, carrying the club to glory. Number 8. Haaland will leave Man City. This is perhaps the most out-of-pocket prediction, but bear with me. If City wins the Champions League and or the Premier League again, what would an ambitious player like Haaland do? Similarly to Ronaldo in 2009, he would probably embrace another challenge in a different league. The obvious choice would be Real Madrid since they're in a good position from a sporting and financial point of view, but I wouldn't be surprised if Haaland replaced the aging Lewandowski. As far as his replacement goes, the citizens already possess a world-class replacement in Alvarez, but I'm sure they wouldn't be content with only one option. In a shock summer move, Man City will steal Gyökeres away from Chelsea, and the unproven Swedish will surpass Alvarez and emerge as the starter striker in the Etihad. Number 7. Mbappe won't be playing for Real Madrid. Yes, I know that this transfer seems destined to happen for about 5 years now, but I think this will be one of those moves that will simply never materialize. The window of opportunity is getting slimmer and slimmer, and I wouldn't be surprised if Real simply gave up on the French star. After all, unlike PSG, they have a clear philosophy that no one is bigger than the club. If they weren't willing to change their ways for Cristiano, why should they do it for Mbappe? Besides, Real is in clear need for a striker, and at this point, Haaland is a much better fit than Mbappe. Number 6. Xavi, Ten Hag, and Eddie Howe will all be fired. I don't know if they'll be jobless by the end of the year, but I'm positive their respective clubs will fire them throughout 2024. To be fair with Xavi, I don't really think he deserves a potential sack. I think it's pretty clear that Barca don't have the spending power or the youth talent that they once possessed. It's getting harder and harder to compete against Real, especially considering that Barcelona has to focus on finding a way to earn 859 million euros. Either way, the fans won't care, they'll continue to demand the same Barca from a decade ago, and the scrutiny will be too big for Xavi to continue. Up north in England, Ten Hag and Eddie Howe are failing to catapult their clubs to the heights that the Red Devils and Magpies had hoped for. I don't think they'll be sacked before the end of the season, but I expect Man United and Newcastle to commence their 24-25 campaigns with new man at the helm, perhaps even bringing in an old familiar face. Number 5. An underdog will win Copa America. In the last 2 editions, the top dogs from the continent emerged victorious. Argentina would win the World Cup 1 year later, and at the beginning of 2024, La Albiceleste are the biggest candidates to win another Copa America title. But you see, you can't really predict South American football. There's always so much madness going on, and I honestly can't wait to analyze the competition for you guys in the summer. So my prediction is that either Argentina or Brazil will be eliminated early on in the competition, maybe even in the group stage, while the other will lose a game on extra time to the eventual winners Ecuador, who will lift the trophy for the first time in their history. It might sound ridiculous at first sight, but La Tri have only lost one official match in 2023 and only by a 1-goal margin against Argentina, so their miracle win could very well turn into a reality next summer. Number 4, Leverkusen will end Bayern's dominance. Speaking of underdog wins, I think nothing would top Leverkusen, the team who lost every final out of a potential treble in 2002, getting redemption by ending Bayern's reign of 11 consecutive Bundesliga titles. I could be completely wrong, but I just don't see Xabi Alonso bottling the title. I mean, so far, it looks like the complete opposite of a bottler. He picked up Leverkusen from bottom place in their Champions League group and domestically close to the relegation spots, led them to the semi-finals of the Europa League and still finished in the Bundesliga top 6. It's pretty apparent that he knows how to deal with the pressure, not only due to his recent performances as manager, but also due to his illustrious footballing career. Bayern got lucky last year, but eventually luck will run out. Number 3, Germany will reach the semis in the Euros. I think me putting this year as a shocking prediction really paints a picture of how disappointing Germany has been in the last couple of years. The general consensus among football fans seems to be that Germany will either be eliminated in the group stage or in the round of 16. But I think this time around, the Germans will surprise us in a positive way. Ironically, they're in a very similar position compared to the last time they hosted an international tournament. In 2006, Germany held the World Cup without any hope of achieving anything spectacular. After all, in Euro 2004, they couldn't even beat the modest Latvia. Despite all of that, the Mannschaft had a respectable performance where they conquered the bronze medal, and from that point on, the Germans became a top force in football once again. In 2024, I believe the same thing will happen. If they're given a chance, Musiala and Adeyemi will be difference makers and then use this solid Euro Championship run to catapult the national team back to its former glory. Number 2, Cristiano Ronaldo will play his last match for Portugal. As a Portuguese, my biggest wish was that his last match was in the Euro final with the country emerging as Euro winners once again. Unfortunately for Portugal, I just don't think that's what's gonna happen. I believe Portugal will have a decent run, but they haven't quite proven themselves against the European giants, so anything more than a quarter-final finish should already be seen as an okay performance. Regarding Ronaldo, I don't think he'll be able to continue with the national team for much longer. I mean, he'll turn 39 this year. No matter how well he treats his body, everyone eventually reaches their limit. Furthermore, it's not like he's a center back. Although he has adapted his playing style throughout the years to accommodate his aging, it gets to a point where it will be impossible to compete against a sharp or more agile world-class defenders from Europe. So after another heartbreak, Ronaldo will probably have a farewell match with his national team in October and focus on his club career from that point on. And number 1, Messi and Ronaldo will be out of the Ballon d'Or voting for the first time in 20 years. Since 2004, at least one of the 2 generational GOATs were included in the Ballon d'Or voting. That's 20 years of dominance, an incredible feat of longevity unmatched across the entire history of the sport. But 2024 will be marked as a definitive end of their era. Neither Messi nor Ronaldo will do enough to be in the top 30 list, especially considering that the voting greatly undervalues a player's impact in leagues outside the usual top 5. And so the ball will continue to roll, with the once world-class players turning into legends from a not-so-distant past. But what do you think? How many of these will I get right? Maybe I'll revisit this in 1 year to either believe I got psychic powers or to simply laugh at my crazy predictions. Don't forget to leave a like if you want to watch more content like this and subscribe to never miss the most interesting football discussions, stories and top 10 lists. Thank you for watching until the end, I appreciate you and I will see you soon.